Hi, Read 585. This is part two of our week four lectures. Hopefully, you took some time to view part one, which was a follow up and my response to the discussion forum we did in week two, wrapping up the role of the reading specialist. I tried to address many of the common trends in the discussion and then answer some questions as well relating to those. I also provided some tips on coaching and finding a job. So hopefully it was useful to you. I know it was very, very lengthy, so I'm trying to keep the rest of this week's lectures to a minimum, given that you will need to view the lectures and then also view screencasts for assignment 3. So that being said, let's move on and talk about upcoming assignments. But good news, remember I said if you had any good news to share with your classmates, I would happily accept emails of good news and integrate them in weekly lectures. So this week we have some good news from Christina with a K, who went into escrow on her first house. Congratulations, Christina. Big year for her, new job and possibly a new house very soon. All right, what to read for week four. First, everyone will need to read the AYP, Adequate Yearly Progress Informational Guide. This will be essential in helping you with assignment 3 to help understand what the facts and figures mean for AYP and for API. So everybody read that. It's very enlightening, very entertaining, not so much that. And then you will get to pick one of the following articles. The first is geared toward more of the elementary level. It is titled Building Knowledge and Fashioning Success, One School at a Time. And that comes, that comes to us from the reading teacher, I believe, my favorite, the reading teacher. Yep. Reading Teacher 2004. And then the other option is, this would be my recommendation to read. It comes from the Journal of Adolescent and Adult Literacy, also another publication by the International Reading Association. And it is by Douglas Fisher, Nancy Frey, and Diane Lapp from San Diego State. And it is titled Meeting AYP in a High Need School, a Formative Experiment. I think this is a great article. It really gives you concrete steps for how to do some school improvement and how to integrate reading strategies. Hey, you know those content area teachers who are awfully resistant? Well, this is a study that shows it is effective to integrate reading strategies in the content areas. There you go. All right, participation activity this week, another discussion forum, very similar questions, thinking about your readings, what was eye-opening to you, which strategies did the school use that you would want to emulate, and what are your questions? So thinking about school improvement practices geared toward that. Just a reminder to make sure you answer all parts of the prompt, really emphasizing quality, not quantity. You don't need to write an exhaustive amount, but make sure what you do write is very high level thinking, that you're using the course readings and materials, you're citing them with APA, you're spelling the author's last names correctly, very important. You're integrating the thoughts of colleagues, which it seems like this group does very, very nicely. And please, please proofread. Assignments due this week. So honestly, the only real assignment that is due is the participation activity forum. However, you have assignment number 3, part 1 is due next week. So please make sure you are reviewing all of the materials on the Titanium site for assignment number 3. Part 1 again is due February 22nd, which is next week, so make sure you know how to do that. Also, a heads up that feedback to your colleagues on their professional documents is going to be due March 22nd, and I have a screencast from Dr. Bowers up right now on that. So no late participation assignments. That is your only assignment this week, is little discussion activity. Again, that timeline for assignment number 2, everyone's professional document draft should be up on their group's project page. This week, I'd like you to view Dr. Bauer's narration screencast of how to give feedback. She shows you how to use the template, how to post it. We want to make sure we do that by March 22nd is when you need to give feedback to each person on your team. So that should only be 2 other people. And then May 3rd, the final drafts of your professional documents are due. That is the timeline for assignment 2. Next, assignment number 3, I'm not going to talk too extensively about because there is so much information that you just need to go through there. But I do want you to know that there are 3 parts to this assignment. In the first part, you're really just making a data chart. You're either collecting data on your school, or you can identify any school you want to collect data on from a variety of different internet sources. Last semester in Read 516, or when you took Read 516, we were looking at class data and focusing on that. This assignment is broader, and we're looking at a larger scope and looking at whole school data. So there is a template on Titanium for your data piece, and that chart is due February 22nd. Part 2 to this assignment, you're going to narrate some of the quantitative stats you compiled in your data chart, but not only are you going to narrate them, you're also going to do a little bit of data analysis. So looking at, what were the CELT scores in the year prior, what are the current scores, maybe what trends are you seeing happening in this school, really looking critically at the numbers because you are going to use this to make an action plan. So part 3 is the SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and that analysis is due March 29th. So there are 3 parts to this assignment. This is definitely one of the more substantial assignments for the course this semester, and I've broken it down into 3 parts. Each part is due several weeks apart, giving you more time to work on it. There are plenty of resources for this assignment on Titanium, and there are also screencasts for each part of the assignment that have been narrated by Dr. Bowers because she's teaching the hybrid class that is partly online and partly face-to-face. So check those out for more information. Let me show you where to locate those, and then I will wrap up part 2 of this week's lecture. So here we are on our course Titanium site. Just wanted to highlight a few things. First of all, I added this resources block. So a lot of you were interested in my Sampley weekly schedule. That's there. Here's also a paper for community college folk. And then online resources for intervention is something I just posted. I needed to put up the titles of the sections for the professional portfolio. It seemed like a lot of people were interested in that, so I will be posting that soon. Here are also some Common Core State Standards resources as well. All right, then in the assignment resources section, you'll see that resources for assignment 3 are active. Here's a screencast on how to use data websites to do part 1. Here's a screencast on parts 1 and part 2 of that assignment, and here's a screencast on part 3 of that assignment. If you go into the assignment 3 folder, I have sample data sets for the formative and summative assessments if you do not work in a school or have access to school data. Here is a PowerPoint explaining the assignment, but this is what has been narrated in those screencasts, so I would just watch that. This is the grading criteria for the assignment. This is just a typed explanation of the assignment. This is the data template you are going to use for part 1, so make sure you download that. This is a sample of the final SWOT analysis. This is the SWOT analysis described, the PowerPoint, template, all kinds of good things there. So that's where you can find everything. Additionally, I'm going to put them in the week 4 block. So when the week 4 block goes live, they're all right here, in addition to resources that community college read students could use there. So lots of things for you to look at this week. There's also going to be the screencast for providing feedback, so you know how to do that when that part is due. So please check out all of that information. Join me back for part 3.